Yes, ladies and gents, I am rubbing my hands together at this one because I've been waiting to do this show all bloody summer. Waiting. Sancho, Juve, Besiktas, Dortmund, Chelsea, all these different clubs. Roma, I've always loved Roma. Lovely city, great country. Anyway, Fabrizio's confirmed that Roma have put in a 20 mil bid. Well, yeah, a 20 mil. I'm going to run through the news. Is it a loan with an obligation? That's a suggestion there. Either way, this really does feel like something, all right? He's got to accept it, someone says down there. I'm going to run through the news and you can let me know. This is, someone saying you watch it get jinxed. Hey, look, it's not my fault if he gets jinxed. Let me run through the news, all right? This is just breaking now. Roma have submitted an official bid to Manchester United to sign Jadon Sancho. Permanent move for £20 million has been offered, while clubs are also open to a loan with a buy clause. No. Don't want that Chelsea repeat, all right? Decision is up to Manchester United and Sancho's camp. Roma are in contact with both Sancho and Baye. So the suggestion from Paul Joyce, I think it was this morning. We were live on the news show today, and that's when Paul Joyce came out and said Roma were interested. Now, a little follow-up from that. Because someone's like, who's that? Warren is saying, watch him snub the bid, was my immediate reaction. Yeah, sure, it's all well and good, Roma coming in with an offer, but he's got to accept it. And I know that he wants to sit. I don't actually know that, but not asking him himself. But it's always felt like Sancho's wanted to be a free agent in the summer, so we find out. People are going down 20 million, just 20. Like, are you kidding me? I'd take 10 to get him off our books. I genuinely would, and I'm kind of feel a little bit desperate with this one. Anyway, a little follow-up on that. Fabrizio saying that Sancho has opened the doors to the Roma move. And the proposal is worth 20 million as a total package. Down there, loan deal with an obligation to buy proposal at easy conditions to activate the permanent deal. Sancho doesn't want to go to Turkey at this stage despite reports, and we covered those this morning with the Besiktas links. So basically what it sounds like, 20 million offer, is a loan deal with an obligation, and inside that, there are certain stipulations like, I don't know, you played 10 times for Roma. I know, you scored 5 goals for Roma. Sod knows what the actual stipulations are. But that turns it into a permanent deal. That's what it sounds like. Akash, okay, don't lose your shit down there. That's what it sounds like. All right? Anybody coming down here, if this proves to be correct, right? And it's a 20 mil loan with an obligation that turns permanent very easily, right? That means we get 20 mil from Roma for Sancho. It also means we get 5 mil from Chelsea for the loan with an obligation that they paid not to do. And then on top of that, you're saving 250 grand a week in wages. Sancho, if I'm correctly, top 3 earner at Manchester United, certainly top 5. I hope the someone down there, obligation to buy the second he sets foot in Rome. The obligation turned into a permanent move as soon as he plays 2 minutes, as soon as he had 2 appearances for the club. But yeah, we'll save his wages on top of that. And 250 grand a week, if it's September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 9 months is a season. 250k per week times 4, that's a mil. You do the maths. That's £9 million that Manchester United would save on Sancho's wages. Do you know how nuts that is? That between the wages of Marcus Rashford being at Barcelona on loan and Sancho going to Roma on loan, £21 million in wages saved. That's nuts. Look, I really wish I could sort of, like, Rex, you're down there. It's like kind of slightly in jest, but not really, because I don't like the guy. I really, really do not like Jadon Sancho. Like, the way that he has acted throughout these whole, ever since Eric Ten Hag came, well, you could argue it was before that, but I kind of forgave him for a bit before that. But ever since Ten Hag came in, the time away, coming back, the way that he acted, the breakup, calling his manager a liar in public, going to Chelsea, then rejecting a move there, rejecting lower terms. All these moves he said no to. to finally be rid of that would be worth its weight in gold to Ruben Amorim. I don't want him anyway. You know, you could talk about him. Big up to Ryan, by the way, sending this link over, because I was thinking, if Sancho stays at Man United, like, what can United actually do? Can they force him to training isolation? I don't think they could, because of unions that would come in and be angry about it. So simply just having him gone, I honestly don't care about how much money it is. I really, and I promise you I'm not just saying that just to say it. I don't care how much we get for him. As long as his wages are off the books and as long as he's gone from this squad, that's a massive tick for Manchester United this summer. Rex, you're saying, I have a bottle of bubbly ready. Is it too early to crack it open yet? I bloody hope not, right? Freedom indeed, someone says down there. Let me see what you're saying down in the comments. So I'm sure it's going to be spicy, all right? Please be true, Alex says. Tony, you're saying good riddance. Brady, you're saying getting paid that much to act like that. It annoys me even thinking about him. I think he was... We had this conversation so many times in the chat over this summer in terms of like who's the biggest priority to move on this summer. I think I had Sancho as number 1. Garnacho as number 2. Did I have Rashford as number 3? Don't know. Someone down there saying he's coming back next summer. It's literally impossible for him to come back next summer because he is going to be a free agent. It has always very much felt to me that Jadon Sancho has been sitting there waiting to become a free agent next summer so that he can get a massive signing on bonus for whoever he was to join. That's who's manager of Roma? Is it Gasperini? The Atlanta boss. Did he move across? I mean, that's a club that a ton of players would love to join and get. Not that many players get the opportunity to join it. He's lucky, man. He's lucky. You know what? He'd probably be half decent in Serie A. He'd probably be a decent player. It doesn't mean he would ever do that in a Manchester United shirt. Yeah, a couple of you are saying it is Gasperini. I think so. Right. Bear in mind, okay, so I imagine if it is a loan with an obligation, then it will be lesson learned. All right? We got stung hard with that Chelsea one. Kind of surprising, but I suppose that was one of the first cases that you've seen of a club paying the penalty rather than signing the player that they're obliged to sign. Didn't really happen that much. And United got stung because the fee was only 5 mil. I imagine if that penalty fee was like 12.5 mil, I imagine Chelsea would have just probably signed him. Everyone's a decent player in Serie A, someone says down there. Now we have the cash for Le Mans. Well, I think there's another player that we're trying to sign. You know, there's quite a lot of noise going around the timeline today about Carlos Baleba coming from like Cameroonian news sources. Look, I'm not going to be going live with those and hyping you up. I do think a bid's going to be going in. I kind of feel like a bid will probably go in before Arsenal. But I don't particularly think that a bid's definitely... Well, it's not confirmed yet. Not until Ornstein or the like says it. What are you saying down here in the chat? I reckon this will be just a 15-minute, 20-minute chat just with all of you about Sancho, about the attitude, about how important this exit is. And there's more that are needed. You know that. Garnacho is... I think Sancho's on his own. He's isolated himself in being that much of a twat. Like, there is a universal disdain in the United fan base towards Sancho. Imagine that fall that he's had. Since I was so excited when we signed him. Was he 21, I think, from Dortmund? Tried to sign him one summer, went back the next summer, got him for 73 mil. We all felt it was a bargain. Well, that's not been the case. Rex saying, on a serious note, Sancho's contract is up in the summer. What's the point of Roma doing a loan with an obligation if he's a free agent? Kind of a fair point, really, when you think about it. Why would Roma do that? Everyone let me know in the chat. Why do you think that Roma would do that? Why would they do that? 20 mil would be... His wages would be 9 mil if they were paying that. Yeah, it kind of doesn't really make logical sense when you think about it. Someone down there saying Garnacho has reached Sancho levels for me. No coming back for him. Nah, I don't think he has, man. I think that the way that Sancho has acted for a longer period of time. Someone down there saying we have a 1-year option, probably buy in January. That's a good point. Thank you, Murphy. Correct. A couple of you are pointing that out. United do have the +1 on Sancho. Obviously, it would be dumb as hell for United to execute that. You know, I think it's pretty standard with our contracts. 5-year contract +1, the option for one more. Ryan, you're saying the amount of support we gave him and the disrespect he gave back. I think that's pretty much a bob-on comment there. It was very much one-way traffic with this lad. He just seemingly didn't give a toss about, well, he didn't give a toss about United. His boyhood club, Chelsea. I'm only going to stay if you give me the money that I want. Now, his priorities are so skew-whiff. So out. Someone's saying Sesko doesn't have the +1. Does he? I thought that kind of mainly do. Let me see what else is being said about this. Oh, man. Would you include a buyback clause? Absolutely not. Price might be higher after the loan. Wonder what those... So by the sounds of it, this isn't directly going to be cash money into our account so we can spend it this summer. So I'm not sure whether this would impact our ability to bid for Baleba. I think it would impact our bottom line and our wage packet and overall the state of United's finances. But if it's a loan deal with an obligation, that money's probably coming in next summer, right? But we just had to get rid of him. As I said, going down here and just looking at the options that we were late. So it's the 14th of August. The window closes in 2 weeks' time, right? Sancho doesn't want to go to Turkey. He's pushed away from the Juve stuff we thought was going to happen. What even happened to the Juve stuff? Was it the wages that it fell down on? I can't remember, because I remember doing a video saying like something's finally happening with Sancho and Juve because all the reports were suggesting that he was willing to take a wage cut. Now, presumably, anybody know who Roma's highest earner is? I got no idea. Absolutely no idea. It's certainly not going to be 250 grand a week, though. Jason saying loan with an obligation. We'll make sure he goes. If it's a straight transfer, Sancho may not agree with terms and wages. I don't know. I suppose if it's a loan with an obligation, then he would be a free agent next summer. So then he could... Nah. I don't care. I want him gone so bad. Pam saying most toxic player we've ever known. I don't know if I'd use the word toxic. I've said this so many times, man. He's just going to be that old man sitting on his rocking chair on his porch going, probably should have done that differently. Probably should have played that out differently. Someone's saying Dybala's the highest earner there. Probably still Totti. Let's see what's going on here. See what else is being reported. I think that's probably the most important part of this. Right? And why it feels like this one is actually different. Because Sancho's been linked with everywhere. He's had like 6-7 clubs all been interested in a move for him, and he's not been interested in a move to any of those players. To any of those clubs. The fact that he's interested in it. Finally. So we've got what? 17 days left in the window. When does the window close? Is it like 2nd of September? I can't remember exactly what it is. Take the 19 mil, throw a party with the other 1 mil. Can you imagine the party you could actually throw for $1 mil? Man, that'll be a night to remember. What is saying down there? I swear we're getting scammed again, says Marin. Like, honestly, I'm opening this up to the floor. Like, do you actually think there was... I don't know if it's because I'm so against him staying at United that I would probably take 10 mil. So, to me, 20 mil seems like a ridiculous... It's maybe not a ridiculous offer, but a damn good offer. And quite a few of you asking now, how is it an obligation to buy if he's free next year? I think we've just figured it out. United do have the option to extend by 1 year. I don't think we would do that. So it's probably just a bit of transfer poker to sort of suggest that we could, because it would be foolish of us to do it. simply so we didn't lose him for a free, because then we're now obligated to pay another 9 million in wages to Sancho, right? So that would kind of be a bit strange. Alex, you're saying this news plus the sponsorship news may well be enough for the first installment of Baleba. Let's get the first bid in for Baleba before we talk about the first installment of Baleba. But yes, the sponsorship deals, I covered that in the live show this morning. Now, Chelsea, if you want to come in, get that 50 mil bid in for Garnacho, because you're paying 50 mil, man. What? You see, Jacob Ramsey going to Newcastle for 40 mil, and Madueke going for 50 mil, and Elanga going for 55 mil, and you want to come in at 30 mil. You just slapped them. 50 mil, lads. 40 mil up front. It's percentage sell-on clause. Job's a good one. You get the player you want, for some reason. We get the money we need. Garnacho is the one that's most likely to bring cash in this summer. Rashford, we had to... Hey, look, again, this feels like it might be a compromise. There's absolutely no chance that United would have wanted to accept a loan deal with an obligation. This one's a little bit different because it's going to have, quote-unquote, easy conditions to turn it from an obligation to a permanent deal. But United wouldn't have wanted this. United would have wanted cash in the bank up front. Sancho gone. Vamos. See you later. Don't have to worry about you anymore. Someone's saying, what's the update on Baleba? The update on Baleba is there isn't one that's worthy of me bringing it to you now to get you hyped. All right? There are some stories going around, but nothing that I would consider strong enough to have a conversation with you about. All right? So I imagine these conversations are happening in the background. As I said this morning, it feels like everything's in place now for the bid to go in. When will United start the actual talks with Brighton directly? We don't quite know. Glenn saying, what do we owe for Mount? Can we see something being worked around that maybe? I don't really know what you mean there. It's got nothing to do with Chelsea. Mount, I think we bought him for 60 mil 2 seasons ago. Presumably, you do it in 4 installments. If it's straight down the middle, that means we owe probably 30 mil on Mason Mount. But I'm very much generalising. I don't know the exact installments. Andrew, that's kind of a fair point. Going to take him forever to get fit. Of course, the pace of life is slower in Serie A. There is a little bit more room to be technical. You won't be pressed from all angles 24/7. You are afforded a bit more space. And that will make Jadon Sancho a more effective player. But yeah, he's definitely going to be unfit as hell. When was the last time Sancho played football? Hasn't had any preseason whatsoever. Has had a complete summer off. When was the last time he played? Jeez. Presumably at some point, with Chelsea. But I can't actually remember how much he even played towards the end of the season with Chelsea. Man can't even get out of bed in the morning. Do you remember that? It still staggers me that United, by the looks of it, didn't do the due diligence on the background of Sancho's character. Remember all the stories that we then found about Sancho having to be woken up in his hotel room, and basically the assistant manager of Dortmund had to hold his hand to make sure he turned up to training on time. And that he flew back late, I think, after an international break and got fined for it, and then said that he was getting sort of victimised. Same sort of problems that happened at United. The transition finally starts, says Mania. What is he going to turn into? Is he turning into a lady? Don't know. Yeah, good for him. Good for him. Or good for her. He, her. I hope this transfer can fund our chase for Baleba. I don't, as I said, if it's going to be a loan with an obligation, then maybe not. It's interesting how Fabrizio's worded it as a permanent move for 20 mil there, and then a few minutes later, a loan deal with an obligation. But it must be that those conditions are so damn easy that you may as well call it a permanent move. Like Jadon Sancho makes a few appearances for the club. That'd be nice. Do we still give the severance package? Someone says down there. We don't know any more details on this. Remember what the severance package was before, that United were potentially willing to forego that 5 mil that Chelsea gave us to offset some of the wages. I imagine we would have done that if Roma bought him on a permanent deal this summer. We might have offset some of that. But if he's going on a loan with an obligation, I don't think we'd do that and then give him a severance package. See what he's saying down here. Sky Sports, let's see what they're saying. When was the last time I ever went on bloody Sky Sports for a bit of news? I actually know this. Let's see. I think it was Dharmesh Sheth, wasn't it? Right. Here we go. It's from Sky Sports. Let me pull this up for you. Man, why is that website so slow to load? Not loading, not loading. Oh, now you load. There you go. Right. This is from Dharmesh Sheth. Roma have made a bid for United for Jadon Sancho. The bid is understood to be worth around £20 million, and United are considering the offer. Dortmund and Besiktas are also interested. United want to do a permanent deal for Sancho, although the possibility of a loan cannot be ruled out. So Sky Sports are saying that it's a 20 mil offer and United are considering it, right? Fabrizio said that originally, kind of then followed it up by saying, actually, it's a loan with an obligation that pretty much is permanent because it's going to be so easy to find out. We're nearly there, ladies and gents. We're nearly there. If Ineos this summer can sign Cunha and Mbumo, Šeško and Baleba, find a new, I can't even say find a new club for Rashford. Get Rashford off the books. Get Sancho off the books. Get the right money for Garnacho. I think the Garnacho one is probably going to be the only big sale that we make this summer. I don't even know what's going on with Anthony, I'll be totally honest. But if I'm going to have confidence of any money coming in from anywhere, it's got to be the Garnacho one. I think that's probably where a lot of United fans are going to be judging Ineos' ability to negotiate. There's no way that we should be accepting a low ball offer for Garnacho. But if we were to get those signings in, and Sancho was off the books, Rashford was off the books, Garnacho was off the books, and Anthony, now, honestly, I think you're looking at a 10 out of 10 window. And if you're not looking at a 10 out of 10 window, I don't know what else you would have wanted. Actually, that's a lie. I'm about to answer my own question. A goalkeeper. So that's probably going to stop it being a 10 out of 10 for a lot of you. And I'll be honest, it was in my dream window, so you probably have to downscale to it. But even then, it's like 9.5. What a window. The bomb squad. Right, for anybody who's just tuning in, welcome aboard. Let me cover the news again quickly for you. Fabrizio Romano said that Roma have submitted an official bid to sign Sancho. £20 million move. Sky Sports saying the same thing. From Dharmesh Sheth, Roma have made that bid for 20 mil. Dortmund and Besiktas are also interested, but Fabrizio's also reconfirmed down here Sancho doesn't want to go to Turkey and says here Sancho has opened the door to a Roma move. Because at 20 mil, right? 20 mil, and there ain't no way that United are rejecting that. There's no way that Roma, thanks for the bid. Giz 25. They're not going to. They'll be like, where do I sign? Give me the pen. Let me immediately put my pen on that paper so you can't. So it's a legally binding contract, a legally binding offer. Itzaki saying, why is Malacia considered part of the bomb squad? You'll notice I didn't mention Malacia's name there. Feel sorry for the lad more than anything. Seems like a good guy, good kid. Nothing wrong with him. Never really been a bad attitude at all. Just his body went boom. Bad injury. Botched surgery. 2 years out. It's just that no club wants to take a punt on him. Right? No club wants to pay the wages or even pay a fee for him. It's a bit unfortunate. But United are going to have to find a loan somewhere. Probably going to have to subsidise him. And I think Malacia leaves on a free transfer next summer, isn't it? I think so. Jurel saying, is that how much United will have to pay Roma? Well, if the deal was worth 20 mil, then it's 20 mil to United. But I would say once again now, that's probably unlikely to move the needle in terms of how much cash we have this summer. Malacia on loan to a championship club. I mean, he loved that. I don't think he'll get one that good. Coca-Cola sponsoring Villa as well, just after sponsoring Arsenal and Premier League, I think. Did they do that? No, I made that up. Might have been soaking. 20 mil is too low, but I need Sancho and his wages gone. I swear to God, I would have taken 10 mil and considered it a victory. I really would have. Because this is the compromise, right? This summer, I think don't know, I can only speak about myself, but I accepted a while ago that United simply weren't going to get the money that I thought we should for the players that we wanted to get rid of this summer. I wanted to get 40 mil for Rashford. We had to send him out on loan. I can't actually remember what I put down. Just out of interest, right? I'm going to pull up my dream window video I did at the start of summer. I'm going to see what figures I put next to the players. Because I can't actually remember. So look. Scroll down here. Where are we? 2 months ago. Keep sell. No, not there. Where is it? Bing. Dream window. There you go. There's summer transfer. Is that it? I think so. That's it here. This is what I put down. Million. Oh, God. I think that was when I was building the studio still. That's it complete there. So I said, zoom in on that. Don't need that. This is what I said would have been a dream summer. Cunha, tick. And Mbumo, tick. Gyökeres, that counts as Šeško, tick. Wharton, that would count as Baleba, tick. But anyway, I said 40 mil for Rashford. We got a loan. I said 20 mil. Come on. Actually got that bob on. Didn't even realise that. That's how much I was actually willing to take at the start of the summer. So, yeah, for me, you see where I was saying. 30 mil for Højlund, 30 mil for Onana, yeah, 20 mil for Casemiro, 25 for Anthony. I said 40 for Garnacho at the start of the summer. Akash saying 100 mil for Wharton is nuts. It's just that's what I felt Crystal Palace would charge. And I put Wharton in the exact same category as Baleba. So that's why I put 100 mil next to that midfielder. Jean Garcia, by the way, is Barcelona's new goalkeeper. Anyway, 20 mil is what I would. This is what I would have said this is what I did 2 months ago as my dream window. And we're on the way to it. Right, let me go down to the chat. We'll have a couple more minutes chat and then I'll wrap it up. Luciano saying, I believe Whitwell mentioned Manasseh is close friends with Rashford. Well, we knew that. They were boys together, weren't they? Still want Wharton, someone says down there. If Elanga went for 50 mil plus, Garnacho should too. I think Garnacho should be worth 50 mil, but as I showed there, I'd take 40. 40 with a sell-on clause. Think that'll be class. I'm not a prophet. I get way too many things wrong to be even considered a prophet. I'm not going to... I was already laughing at my Premier League predictions. I put like Newcastle in 11th. I really don't like Newcastle, I don't think. I think it's just... I just think they're way, way bigger than they are. Proper delusional, that is. Conference League final, was that when he last played? Don't quite know. Jackie saying you've been buzzing these last 2 weeks. It feels nice, man. It feels nice. This isn't... And we've got a video we've been working on for a while that's coming out tomorrow on the season ahead, on reasons to be excited. And I think there are fair reasons to be excited. Not blind excitement, not blind faith, but you can actually go... You can probably explain to people far more now about, well, actually, this is what United are doing. These are the reasons why we signed these players. This is what's happening behind the scenes. And you can explain it a bit more. You can understand it a bit more. Of course, the proof is going to be, how do we play against Arsenal on Sunday? Does that translate to better football on the pitch? That's what we need to see. Being told to go and have a look at what Ben Jacobs is saying. Now, to be fair to Ben Jacobs, this summer, he's had pretty damn good sources, right? This is what he's suggesting, all right? He's saying this, right? More on Jadon Sancho. Roma are now in club-to-club talks with different structures being explored after making an offer worth £20 million. Man United prefer the permanent exit. Roma have discussed buying Sancho outright as well as a loan with a conditional obligation. So by the sound of it, is it that 20 mil offer up front? Is it a loan with an obligation? Why would they make an offer of 20 mil up front and then discuss a loan with... You wouldn't do that, would you? You wouldn't put the 20 mil bid in if you're going to discuss a loan with an obligation. You'd only discuss that. And United wouldn't want to talk about a loan with an obligation if they're sitting there with a 20 mil offer on the table. Kind of feels like one or the other, no? Don't really know. Permanent exit, just get rid. I really hope that is the case. And I'll wrap this up, all right? He needs to go. I've been waiting all summer for this. probably far more excited than I should be about a player leaving. Like, it feels kind of a little bit grim celebrating it, but that's how much disrespect I think that this lad has given to Man United, and therefore how much respect I think he's owed by me as a fan. And he's owed absolutely none. And I cannot wait to see him leave. And I hope he fails miserably at Roma. I'm not even going to send him on with well wishes. Why would I? I do that with pretty much every player who ever leaves Man United, but not with Sancho. Just can't wait to get rid of him. And by the sounds of it, it's going to be happening. So the 20 mil bid, has it gone in from Roma? That's what Fabrizio's suggesting. And also Sky Sports. We don't know whether it might be an obligation that's easy. If it is, make sure that they can't pay that 5 mil fee and get out of it. But look, thank you all for tuning in. Someone's saying, you're rude, Sam. You get what you give. I think Sancho's been completely disrespectful and rude to Manchester United, so why does he deserve politeness back from me as a fan? That's just my own personal position on it. And I'm typically quite a polite person, but not with this. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. That's all the news covered. I fingers crossed we'll be going live a little bit later on today with news of a Beleva bid. That'll be nice. Take it easy.